Very excited to have you here today, Mike. I saw that you're a Virginia resident, actually. You're from Tazewell?
Yes, sir. That's where I was born and raised. I've lived in Raleigh, North Carolina for about the last 10 years now, but born and raised Virginia native.
All right. So you must be excited to actually be coming to town this weekend. You're going to be in Norfolk. You guys are coming in the Pendleton Whisky Velocity Tour, a little GovX PBR Norfolk night. Uh, I also saw that you've been doing this since the age of 4. So I got to know, like at 4, did you, Mike, actually sit on a bull for the first time?
Oh, no, in this industry, we start out riding sheep at that age, which they call mutton busting. And for me, had a brother-in-law that rode at amateur levels, and I went with him, and I seen that the kids started riding sheep. My siblings had 4-H sheep at home that they showed at the county fairs, and I told my parents that I wanted to start riding them, that I didn't want to lead them around. And with their support along the way, I went from sheep riding to calf riding to junior bull riding, then on to high school rodeo. And then once I graduated high school, I had a main focus on being a professional bull rider. And blessed to say now that 18 years has went by.
Wow, that's quite 30 plus year career I saw as well. You ran through it right there with the early stuff. I didn't know that that's actually how it starts. I just assumed that at some point it was like, all right, I want to get on a bull, and then somebody gets on a bull, sets the timer, and ride or die, so to say.
Yeah, and it's definitely different for everyone. Some guys want to do it, and then their parents don't let them. So then once they turn 18, they go out to do it. Some people are not able to start that young, don't have the
Yeah.
support, or live on a farm or things like that. So it's definitely different for everybody. But I'm blessed to say that I think that has a lot to do with my success is being in it as long as I have.
All right. So, what was it like the first time you did get on the bull? Was there nerves? Was it just kind of all right? It's just a new animal. Like, what was the thought going through your head?
It's been so many years ago, but I can remember as being a younger kid that just not being able to focus in school because I was excited to go to rodeos and bull ridings every weekend. But when you're younger, that fear is more surreal, and you're a little bit more scared at that age. And then once you get to the point of the career that I'm at now, there is no fear really, and if there is, you learn to block it out and just
Okay.
take task at hand and handle your job.
Well, man, you kind of like let's just jump right to it. I was going to ask the mental aspect, like how do you manage that fear? How do you get into the mind space beforehand? Are you listening to music? Are you just like how do you get focused for the night?
Yeah, I think, for me, I've developed a routine over the past, 30 years of riding bulls and just being in this industry, learning that every time I walk in that arena, I have to have the same mindset, same mentality week in, week out, no matter what the results are. And, in the locker room, we'll all listen to the speaker, just play some music, just kind of cool, chill. But then about, an hour before everything starts to get a little bit more serious, the talking kind of slows down, and you just kind of get focused at task on hand and control all your thoughts. And it's a very mental game. So you have to be able to control your mind, especially moments right before we get on, being able to be clear, cool, calm minded is the key to it, because if you worry about too much that really don't matter at that point in time, your body can't react to what it truly needs to do. So I always tell people you kind of just got to stay out of your own self sway.
That's good advice, just for honestly for anything in life. All right, most memorable rides. I'm sure you've had some. What's a moment that you can share with us that just stands out that you're like, guys, if you were there that night?
Yeah, for sure. As a kid growing up, I always wanted just to be on TV and make my parents proud. And then once I achieved that, I wanted to make it to the World Finals. And in 2015, I qualified for my first PBR ever World Finals, and my family got to be there and support me. And that's something that I'll hold dear to me for the rest of my life.
That's awesome. Um, do you have a favorite bull that you've ever ridden? One that you're like, man, that was the one. If only I could still have them.
Yeah, and there's always that one that, every time you ride him, you either win first or you win money on him. So yeah, there's always those ones that you're like, man, let me have that one.
What are some traits that make a bull difficult to ride? Actually,
Unpredictable. That can make it tough. Not knowing a whole lot about him, it keeps us more honest. But really being unpredictable. Let's just say he's been out 10 times and he did something different all 10 times. Well, therefore, we don't really know what to expect when
Yeah.
we nod our head, and we really can't have no game plan. We have to ride more honest. So that does make it a touch more difficult for us. People think that size matters. Size really ain't such a big deal in this sport. When you ride them correctly, you don't feel the power. If anything, the small ones have a little bit more speed to them, a little quicker. But really, at the end of the day, people think the bigger ones would be harder to ride, but they're honestly slower, and you got more room for error on the bigger ones.
That's okay. Yeah, I never. You're talking to somebody who, to be quite honest with you, Pee Wee's Big Adventure was my introduction to the bull riding world. So just to be straight up, so I'm kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense now that I take a step back. But off of that joke, I am curious: is there ever a movie like that you've watched and you're like, oh man, somebody there really knew their homework, or have you watched it and been like, that's just what are they doing?
Yeah, and I've been so invested in my career, even from a kid growing up. I never really played video games, never watched a whole lot of TV.
Wow.
Growing up, I do remember watching 8 Seconds, but when I would get out of school as a kid, having horses and bulls and all of that, my dad worked a full-time job, so did my brother. So all the chores kind of lied on me to get them taken care of and get back home, get my homework done to be ready for school tomorrow, and that way I could go compete on the weekend. So I never had a whole lot of downtime to be able to watch movies or anything, and I think I just kind of developed that at a young age, and I just kept it now that if I got time to sit down and watch TV, I got time to go work on my craft. I'll go get in the gym another round or go get on my barrel another round. I'm not one to sit much. I feel like when I'm
Yeah.
sitting, if I'm sitting, I need to be recovering from a long weekend or resting. But for the most part, I always want to be working on my craft to get better.
That's incredible. And actually, off of that, what like how do you train for it? Is it really about the speed? Is it about the strength? Is it weights? Is it more cardio stuff? Like how do you go about training?
Yeah, man, that's a really good question because it's a lot like UFC training, I would say. We got to be pound for pound strong. I have a barrel it's an electric barrel, and you press a button, and it simulates the moves that you need
Wow.
to ride a bull with. So bull riding's really muscle memory. So just having those moves down pat to where your body knows to do them on hand without you having to think about it. And in the gym, I don't touch a whole lot of weights. I just use more body weight stuff. One of my favorite things to do is hit a speed bag. I love it. It's great for the shoulders. And I know this sounds a little silly coming from a bull rider. It's supposed to be all tough, but doing hot yoga has been a big key to my success the last 10 years. I truly think that it keeps me limber,
Yeah.
the mental aspect, the core strength that it takes, and I think that's what helps keep me young.
I, it makes sense. The yoga thing, I get it. I've done it a few times and it really does. It's a great hardcore core workout.
Yeah,
Truthfully, it's
for
like the
sure.
hardest thing you'll do. All right, Mike, I don't want to keep you too long because I see you're sitting. You told me you don't like to sit. You like to get to your craft. So before I let you go, brother, all I need to know is what can we expect this weekend? Like what type of show should we look forward to here in Norfolk?
Yeah, it's an action-packed night of excitement that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. If you've never been to a PBR event, it's like nothing else. 35 different times there's a guy coming out of the chutes, and us as the riders, we don't know what's going to happen, neither do the spectators. So you don't know if you're about to witness a great ride or a great wreck.
Yeah. Do you get to actually? So you guys get to watch the rides as well? Like do you guys come out and watch everybody else?
We do if we choose to. I mean, I
All right.
spend a lot of my time in the locker room unless it's one of my really good buddies and he asks me to
Gotcha.
help him. I'll go out and give him a hand. But for the most part, like I said, that hour before it, you kind of flip the switch and
Senses. Yeah.
game on.
Awesome. Well, Mike, thank you so much. We look forward to having you all here in town this weekend, and best of luck to you.
Thanks, Nick. Look forward to seeing everybody at the GovX PBR in Norfolk Friday, February 28th at 8 p.m. Saturday, March 1st at 7 p.m. If you're looking for tickets, tickets start at $25 at Ticketmaster, PBR.com, or Chartway Arena box office.
My goodness, you did it for me there at the end. Thanks.
Thank you, man.
No problem, man. Have a great one again.
You too, Nick.